Morning everyone, welcome back to the shed for this week's news desk. In today's show we're going to remember last weekend's Royal International Air Tattoo, take a look at some new kits and show you how with some simple upgrades you can improve Revell's already superb 1/32 scale Messerschmitt 109 G series. So last weekend was Fairford, Royal International Air Tattoo for 3 days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We managed to get down there on the Sunday and spend some time looking at the jets in the actual air display and also the static park as well. I guess for many the highlight would have been the head-to-head with the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II. The Raptor display on the Sunday when we were there was cut short by a technical fault, which was a shame. We only saw it for 2 or 3 minutes, but it was certainly great to see it for the first time and see not only that shape but also how it moves. Doing that kind of bunny hopped takeoff was quite spectacular, and seeing £70,000 of thrust coming out the back end of a fighter is something to behold. Personally for me the sight of the Lightning II was a highlight. To see it both in the air and close up on the ground, I managed to get down to the far end of the static park and see the three lined up together. It was an extraordinary sight. It's an amazing thing to look at. I know a lot of people think it's ugly. A lot of people complain that it's, you know, it's a child only a mother could love, but I really like it, I have to say. And I think that it's just a technological marvel. It just looks amazing. The finish on it is just ultra smooth. It looks like it's been made by a model maker who's gone overboard on trying to get the surface finish perfect. Amazing looking thing. In the air it's quite extraordinary as well. I was most keen to see the version that the British forces will be buying, the STOL version, Stevol version of it. And to see it coming in along the crowd line and then stopping midline, hovering, and just as if it was on a glass shelf. I've never seen anything so rock solid in the air. It was extraordinary. Balancing on that engine at the back, not only was it incredibly loud, it just looked like it was perfectly balanced. It was an amazing sight. Really enjoyed seeing that, I have to say, and it certainly makes me want to build one of these things. I've taken a lot of photographs of them, so I'm hoping to maybe build one for model airplane and do a full walk around, so we'll see how that goes. Also it was great to see the final display of the Ramex Delta team. They are composed of two Mirage 2000s, one painted up in stock camouflage, the other one painted up for the 100th anniversary of the Lafayette Squadron, painted in black with the Indian on the tail. Beautiful looking machines, beautiful scheme. I would imagine that Shine Art are already sharpening their pencils over that one. It's got to be done. It's just absolutely stunning. It was really heartening as well. At the end of their display, they taxied to the parking point at the far end of the runway, and there were two fire engines with their hoses pointed up in the air. So they had like a sort of a final guard of honour from the ground crew. Really impressive display and a superb way to round off the show. Yeah, really enjoyed it this year. The weather was pretty poor in the morning. It was cold and it rained a little bit. Nowhere near as much as it rained for everybody on the Saturday, although I think it probably bucketed down then. But certainly for us it was good. So yeah, great show. Looking forward to next year. So we've got a bunch of new stuff in today to look at. We've got some news Vesda kits, some reissues from Italeri, and also some new kits from Tamiya. So we'll take a quick look at each of these in order. First one is this new 35th Gaz Tiger that's coming from Vesda. This is a really complex kit from this manufacturer. Although a small vehicle, this is packed full of detail. There's a lot in this, both externally and internally. All of the fighting compartment, I guess you would call it, the crew cabin, is fully detailed with all seats and racks and all of that kind of thing. No engine in this, but a full chassis. This will build up into a really nice model of this vehicle. I guess it's a modern equivalent of the armoured Humvees, that kind of thing. It's about that sort of size. Grey plastic parts in the main. Tyres are moulded in vinyl, and although they're nicely detailed, I'm sure that people are going to be looking for resin replacements for those. But they do look fine. Don't assume that just because I'm telling you that replacements are out there that they're not good in the kit. They are. So for modern Russian armour fans, of which there are millions these days, given the number of kits that are being produced, I think this will be something to enjoy. On the same lines, we've got another Russian subject here. This one here, the Hokum. I think this is a slightly older generation Zvezda kit. It certainly looks to be so, and doesn't look quite up to the standards of their newer 72nd scale kits. That being said, it's still pretty complex. There's a lot to it. The airframe, which is remarkably small in fact, is broken down into quite a complex number of parts. Detail's pretty good, surface detail's fine. Weapons are particularly impressive. I was quite taken by those. So once again, if you are a fan of these modern helicopters, this is certainly something that I think you'll enjoy putting together. It probably isn't a very long project, and will take no more than sort of 10-15 hours to put together, I would think. Painting it might be slightly more complicated. Once again, it's got an octopus pattern camouflage on it, but I think once it's built, it'll create quite a comprehensive little model. Moving on to Italeri, we've got two Italeri kits that have come in today. The first one is a reissue of Eschi's AD4W Sky Raider, the early warning version of this. This is one of Eschi's mid-production kits, I guess. So it still has raised panel lines on this rather than the recessed panel lines that you would have seen on later kits such as the Phantom, Mirage F1, that kind of thing. Overall, it's an accurate kit. The main components in this, the fuselage, the airframe in general, produces a nice version of this model. Detail's not wholly brilliant, but it can certainly be made up into a very serviceable looking model. You get 4 decal options in this one, 2 849 Naval Air Squadron aircraft from Royal Navy, the one on the box with the yellow and black stripes, also one without those stripes on, and then you get an American Navy and an American Marines AD4W, all painted in overall dark blue. So no variation there, really. Good to see this one back. I think with a bit of TLC it will build up into a pretty impressive model of this. You could of course use some parts from Tamiya's Sky Raider to embellish what's in here, although that might make it a slightly more expensive project. Scribing the panel lines into this and adding a little bit of riveting and surface detail will work wonders, I think. And if you were to do that, I think you should end up with something that will look great on the display shelves. Second kit that we've got is a reworking of, I think their earlier H34. This is the H34G and J version. It says fully upgraded models. I can't tell you what they are in terms of changes because I haven't seen the original kit. What I can tell you is that this is a fine model inside the box. There's lots of details, some good features in here. Curved blades are moulded as standard in this range. There's photo etch that cover nose vents and also offer seat straps for the pilot's seats. Surface detail is both raised panels and also recessed rivets. Now personally I'd rather the whole thing had been raised, rivets and panels, but that's the approach that they've taken. Decal options for this are nice and bright. There's a German search and rescue aircraft in there from Marine Flieger at Kyle Holtenau in 1973. That one is painted up in flat aluminium and orange, so that's quite a nice scheme, but the real standout I guess is this one here from Ellison Field Naval Air Station, and painted in overall gloss orange. I think this is a really nice scheme actually. I think they look really good. From what I remember, this is a very bright orange as well. so that might be something to look into when you're painting this. But I think if it was built up into this colour scheme, it would look great actually. Really, really nice. Helicopters are often in bright colour schemes from that period, and in that scheme this kit doesn't really disappoint. Two new kits from Tamiya that have arrived. Although some of you may well have already seen these, it's always great to see a Tamiya kit arrive. I've been a fan of their kits from day one, and so it's always a treat when they pitch up. So what we've got here is, the first one is this SU76M. Quite a small vehicle but packed full of detail. Tamiya have approached this in their usual methodical way. So you've got everything detailed: fighting compartment back, full gun, breech. Also, they've given you the option of having the tracks in there as link and length. Not the option, that's how they provide them. They are in link and length sections. But what they do provide is quite a clever idea on one of the runners. And it's essentially an undulated platform that you build the 30 odd upper links onto. So you glue 30 odd links together, then you lay them over this template, push them in, let it set, and that creates the sagged upper run. And then you have individual links that run around the sprocket and rear idler, and then a long section that goes underneath. Very clever idea, very simple, and will help you have exactly the right number of links in exactly the right place for each side. Along with the basic vehicle kit in this, you also get 3 figures. These figures seem to have been manufactured using the same methods that Tamiya have been using on some of their figures recently, and so they're kind of perfectly scaled. I think they must scan real people. I think that's how they're done, and so not only are they anatomically correct, their uniforms are perfect. All of the various creases and folds and details and that kind of thing are all in the right place. You get 3 figures in this kit: a loader, a commander and a gunner. So the inside fighting compartment is pretty complete. Build it up from the box, add those figures, maybe a bit of stowage, and you'll have an extremely detailed little model. One of the things that Tamiya have continued on this kit is to have punch marks on the inside of some of the panels. They're far from obtrusive on this, and I think some of them are covered over with internal details anyway, but those that do remain will be easy to remove. The second kit is another tank destroyer, this time the mid-production M10. I think that Tamiya did this in 48th a few years back, so it's good to see this joined in their 35th scale range. Once again, it's highly detailed. The hull itself is detailed only externally. There's no internal sections, but the turret is complete. So you get all of the gun or ammo racks, that kind of thing. You also get 3 figures in this kit as well. Once again, a loader, commander, and a gunner who are modelled to fit inside the turret. Which, for those of us that have spent time hunting round for figures for these open-topped tank destroyers, that's a real bonus, I think. And once again, they're beautifully sculpted and they look great. So you'll end up with another model that's highly detailed. This one doesn't include any kind of stowage, which I was surprised by. I think to keep the costs down, they've kept the stowage away. So although you get the figures, you don't get anything that hangs off the turret or goes onto the rear engine deck. But there's a whole ton of it out there anyway, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I would imagine anybody that builds this kit has probably got that sort of stuff in reserve. So a good project, once again sensibly broken down by Tamiya. It was good to see that inside they've actually moulded the connections to the runners right on the edge of the wheels, rather than in the centre. So cleaning the running gear up on this will be an absolute snap. Real easy, really quick, no problems at all with that. Those of you who've built any of Revell's G-Series Messerschmitt 109s will have maybe been a bit frustrated by the way that they approach the rear bulkhead and the seat in that kit. So Barracuda, Roy Sutherland's company, have taken time to create two new sections. These are designed for the 109 G2 through to G10. They're kind of a universal fit, and I think that they're probably just a drop fit into the kit as well. And what these two pieces supply you with is the rear bulkhead, the upper shelf, and also the seat. The difference between these two is that one supplies seat belts moulded in situ, the other one doesn't. The seat belts on this one are absolutely superb. They look perfect in place. They're so well draped, and I think that by painting these you'll have a really gorgeous looking add-on to what is effectively a really nice kit anyway. This one here will allow you to use seat belts from anywhere else, whether it's from Edward or HDW. Any of those kind of proprietary aftermarket sets will be perfect for this. Detail and casting is superb, no air bubbles, absolutely gorgeous. Barracuda cast are amongst the very best that you can buy in terms of resin add-ons, and these only really add to that idea. Superb. Also, they've produced these BF109G underwing cannon gunboats. Again, a drop fit, perfectly cast, detail and shape is excellent. So these can be just used straight under the wing of the kit. Another neat little add-on. Moving on, and finally, whilst we're on the subject of 109Gs, I've got a couple of sets here that have come in from Edward. The first one is a complete engine and fuselage set for their 109G6. This here provides a complete engine, all of the open panels around the engine, and also the rear firewall and the guns. Having taken a look at this, I can tell you that the detail is just extraordinary, as you would imagine from Edward, and because it's designed in conjunction with the kit, it will be a drop fit. I used one of their sets for my Focke-Wulf 190 A8 build that I completed earlier on this year, and although it's complex and this isn't really for a beginner, it will fit perfectly into the kit. So that's a great add-on for that. And then what they've done is that they've taken time to already upgrade their 109G5 kit. This one here is the first of a number of add-ons for that product. This one is a cockpit set that replaces the plastic parts that are supplied in the kit, so you get a complete reworking. Floor, bulkhead, parcel shelf, firewall plus seats. It's moulded in resin, very highly detailed, but it also provides a bunch of photo etch as well. So again, another complicated set, but one that will add to the look of the completed model. I really like these. I think they're great. I think they're a great idea to give you the option of either building the model from the box just in plastic, or to have something that's designed specifically for that kit that will fit is something that I applaud Edward for. So these two, if you are building either of Edward's superb 48th 109G series kits, I really recommend you do, because as we've seen earlier, they are brilliant. These are certainly worth taking a look at. So that's it for today. That's our roundup done. Hope you've enjoyed the news desk for this week, and thanks once again for watching. Thanks once again for watching the earlier video that I did on my huge Harrier T4 build, and I hope you have a nice day. I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care and see you next week. Bye.